Imagine pulling up to your dream home, keys in hand, only to have a self-appointed neighborhood queen summon the cops before you can even unload a single box. All because your moving truck dares to be oversized. That's how my nightmare began in the supposedly idyllic suburb of Willow Creek, Georgia, where the air smelled of fresh-cut grass and simmering resentment. Little did I know, buying this split-parcel ranch house would turn me into the accidental hero who exposed a petty dictatorship masquerading as community spirit. My name's Elias Hartley. I'd heard the whispers before closing the deal. Rumors that the previous owner had been run out of town by nosy neighbors spreading lies about his shady renovations. Folks said he was turning the place into a meth lab or something equally absurd, all because he dared paint his shutters without permission. I shrugged it off. After all, my realtor assured me the property was grandfathered out of the HOA's clutches due to an old parcel split. The county records confirmed it. My lot ended at the curb, free from their laminated rulebooks. I figured I'd keep my head down, fix up the dated interior, and live quietly. But quiet wasn't in the cards. The U-Haul hadn't even fully stopped when she appeared. Picture this, a peroxide blonde woman in her mid-50s, decked out in pastel athleisure like she was auditioning for a Pilates infomercial, striding across the street with the confidence of a traffic cop at rush hour. "Excuse me, sir," she said, her voice dripping with that fake southern sweetness that masks pure venom. "I'm Karen Whitaker, president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association." "And you are?" "Elias Hartley," I replied, wiping sweat from my brow as I hopped out of the truck. "Just moving in today." "Nice to meet you." Her eyes narrowed like she'd caught me red-handed stealing cable. "Moving in? Without notifying the board? Our bylaws require 14 days advance notice for any move-in activities. It's to ensure minimal disruption to the community's aesthetic harmony." She whipped out a plastic-sheathed document from her fanny pack, waving it like a holy relic. "And that monstrosity of a vehicle? Oversized trucks are prohibited from overnight parking. You'll need to remove it immediately." I stared at her, half expecting a punchline. "It's a rental for moving. How else am I supposed to get my stuff inside?" A fleet of golf carts. Her lips pursed into a thin line, like she'd sucked on a lemon disguised as a mint. "Rules are rules, Mr. Hartley. They're what keep Willow Creek from descending into chaos. I've already alerted the authorities about this violation." She said it so casually, like she was commenting on the weather. "You called the cops? On me moving into my own house?" I laughed, but it was the kind of laugh that hides disbelief turning to anger. "Public safety is paramount," she replied primly, adjusting her visor. "And don't think your deed excuses you. This is a deed-restricted community. You agreed to our covenants." "Actually, no," I said, leaning against the truck with forced calm. "My parcel's exempt. Checked it twice with the title company. Your HOA stops at the mailbox line." Her face flushed, but she recovered with a sniff. "We'll see about that." And sure enough, a police cruiser rolled up minutes later, lights off but presence unmistakable. 2 officers emerged, looking more bored than bothered, one a grizzled vet, the other a rookie with a notepad. "Afternoon, folks," the vet said, eyeing the scene. "What's the issue?" Karen pounced. "This man is illegally occupying the property. No board approval, oversized vehicle, and he hasn't even submitted color swatches for potential exterior changes. It's a blatant disregard for our standards." The rookie suppressed a smirk, but the vet just sighed. "Ma'am, is there a crime here?" Theft? Assault? He's disrupting the peace, she insisted, her voice pitching up like a kettle on boil. I pulled the deed from the glove compartment and handed it over. Officers, here's proof. Parcel split. I'm not under HOA jurisdiction. They scanned it, nodded. Looks legit, sir. Ma'am, HOA disputes are civil matters. Call a lawyer, not 911. They tipped their hats and drove off, leaving Karen sputtering about property values plummeting and outsiders ruining everything. I watched her retreat to her pristine SUV, muttering threats under her breath. All I wanted was to unpack and binge-watch some TV. But nope, this was war, declared over a truck. And Karen Whitaker had just fired the first shot, oblivious that she'd aimed at the wrong target. 2 days in, and the house was a war zone of its own, drop cloths everywhere, me knee-deep in primer, battling a kitchen that screamed 1970s disco fever with its mustard yellow cabinets. The neighborhood felt watchful, like every twitch of a curtain was a judgment. Then, the envelope slipped under my door. No postage, just bold caps screaming. Unauthorized modifications noted. Cease exterior alterations or face enforcement action. Exterior, I'd barely touched the inside. Stepping out, I spotted it. A neon orange sticker plastered on my rented dumpster, proclaiming violation, illegal debris containment. No city seal, just Willow Creek Community Watch in a font that looked like it was designed in Microsoft Paint. I peeled it off, chuckling bitterly. This was amateur hour harassment, but it stung, like being nagged by a hall monitor with a god complex. I'd dealt with bullies before. In my old job as a freelance investigator, I'd uncovered corporate scams by staying silent and observant. So, I didn't rage. Instead, I installed security cams that night, discrete ones covering every angle, feeding to my cloud storage. Morning came, and bingo. Footage of Karen and a burly guy in a polo shirt, her sidekick, I guessed sneaking up, slapping another sticker, and snapping pics like paparazzi at a scandal. Armed with that, I headed to the county office. The clerk, a no-nonsense woman with reading glasses perched on her nose, confirmed it instantly. Your lot's pre-HOA formation. Exempt. Here's a letter stating as much. I photocopied a dozen, dropping one in Karen's mailbox with a polite note. For your records. Retaliation hit like clockwork. A sedan parked blocking my driveway overnight, plates traced to a neighbor I'd never met. Knocking on their door. A kid answered, Mom says you need to apologize to Mrs. Whitaker for being difficult. The car vanished by dawn, replaced by a yard sign staked in my grass. Non-compliant residence. Under review. I yanked it, but it reappeared zip-tied to my oak tree. Footage showing the same burly guy hammering it in at 2 a.m. I filed a report. Officer Ramirez showed up, young, sharp-eyed. Trespassing. Huh? Want charges? Not yet, I said. Just document it. He nodded. These HOA types think they're above the law. Call if it amps up. It did. My lumber delivery got blocked by golf carts, performing urgent maintenance. The driver bailed. I paid extra for rescheduling. Fuming but focused, I dug deeper. Online HOA filings revealed dues creeping up stealthily. Landscaping contracts bloated. The vendor, Green Vista Services, owned by Karen's nephew. Classic nepotism, ripe for exposure. Door to door I went, subtle at first. Most neighbors were wary, but an older couple, the Harrisons, spilled over iced tea. She fined us $150 for inconsistent hedge height. Said it clashed with the community's vibe. We paid to avoid the drama. Their eyes lit with hope when I mentioned a lawyer. Count us in to dethrone her. By week's end, I had affidavits galore. I called my old pal Lena, an HOA busting attorney. She arrived, eyes gleaming over my dossier. This isn't just petty, it's fraud. Fake stickers, impersonating officials. And those family contracts, embezzlement city. We plotted, injunction first, then tip the cops. That night, a shadowy SUV idled outside. Morning brought a gutted bird on my porch. Creepy, but caught on cam. I bypassed local PD, going straight to the DA with everything. The HOA's facade cracked wide open. A cease and desist landed on my door. Glossy, embossed, accusing me of sowing discord and defaming our harmonious enclave. Lena laughed it off. They're panicking. Look at this, missing expense logs for months. But payouts to shell companies tied to board members. We confronted the VP, Marlene Kettering, at her McMansion. You funneled dues through your own firm, Lena said flatly. Marlene's poker face held, but her voice wavered. Misunderstanding. Lawyer up if you must. Door slam. More neighbors trickled in. An IT guy fined for unauthorized Wi-Fi signals. A nurse dinged for overly festive holiday lights. Their stories fueled our case. I added attic cams. Paranoia justified. The tipping point. An ex-treasurer's call. Spurred by our discreet flyers. Her spreadsheets? Goldmine. Fines laundered through bogus vendors. All linked to Karen's circle. DA summoned a grand jury. Subpoenas flew. Karen went radio silent. Her golf cart tarped like a relic. Then, the knock, Ramirez with a detective. Charges incoming: fraud, evasion, racketeering. Testify? Gladly, I said. As audits deepened, horrors emerged. Hidden mics in the clubhouse. Even the playground spying on non-compliant chats. Illegal as hell. Dawn raid on Karen's house. Deputies efficient. Her in a fluffy robe. Screeching, I'm the guardian of this community. Cuffed and carded. Her empire crumbled amid neighborly whispers turning to cheers. The interim board formed under county watch. Transparent. Fair. Audits promised refunds. Patrols dissolved. At the first open forum, voices rose unfiltered. I spoke last. I came to renovate a house, not a regime. But together, we did. That evening, tools stowed, I sat porchside with Lena. You Aaron Brockovich and HOA, she teased. Just wanted peace, I replied. The street sighed freely, no spies, no stickers, just life. But tell me, in a world where community standards justify tyranny, is the real villain the rule breaker or the rule maker who twists them for power?